And this day and age, just from my personal life and experience, in society as, a coming up artist at it. Well, I'm far past that point now, but at the time, as an artist, like, that, love, of course, poetic, like just I love the concept, the art, that art form that just so happened to be my particular, interest, among other interests, that's not the only kind of art. It's just the one that I have had the most, like the most resource of, and ability concerning, which is great because it's also one of my favorite things of all times. So it's like, yeah, in this age, man, it's, you have to be like it's, things ain't like what they were at one point, because it's like I say, man, if it's like a fight for, it's like, it's always been like a pecking order, like a fight for power and things, like a struggle, like going throughout, history actually, but in this particular age, for some strange reason, it's just like the most weirdest time ever, man. And I just attribute it to the Bible time and the prophecies, because a lot of things really made no sense, that's transpired throughout the years. And it's like, I can't, giving away how things transpire, in spite of, foreknowledge and widespread awareness of situations, I can't help but, think that a lot of stuff happened the way it did because that's the way society wanted it to happen, That's all I could think of, so that changes a whole lot, but that's for a whole different segment, but as of right now, I already spoke on everything that I needed to speak on, when it comes to my art form, though, it's been times when it's not very many people I recognize, this day and age, it's not very many people that I recognize, as influences, period, and I use, like I say, like it's not very many that I recognize, and every now and then, I let some know that, yeah, you're still in my thoughts, just friendly, shallow, nothing too heavy, superficial, but know that depth and the love always there, what I'm saying, when it's applicable and when it's necessary, when it's reasonable, when it's, relevant, and so that's, it's actually been like out of all of the individuals, it's been, it's like a handful, this day and age. And so I already, clarified, it is not really something that I have to like, really elaborate on, because anybody who knows God, even a little bit, then they'll know, I mean, it's really like people that supported my stuff, in any kind of way, then they got an idea like what kind of person I am, and certain things I won't do, and I don't do. But, at the same time, now we living in a world where like I can't lie now, like throughout the years, I got like a whole bunch of like supernatural persecution. Like, I mean, when I get, like, most people have haters, but I don't have just haters. Like, my haters, like, super haters. Like, super haters. You know what I'm saying? Like, my haters, they it's like straight out like the pits of hell. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's because of the potential I could do for God. And so that's why I was like, well, so when I get under attacks, I be under attack. And that's how it's been for the past like 6 years of my life alone. And it came without cause, and I ain't even know. But that's, I say that to say this, like, it's never a point, in my, never a point in my art form that I you know, like use, you know what I'm saying, like it's never a point in my art form where I take or, you know, do anything like that, because the reason I have to speak on it, you know, not from anybody else, but the reason I speak on it, you know, is because these persecutions, you know, they constantly, you know, these persecutors, they constantly like nitpick and find, you know, look for reasons to, after all this time and all this information illuminated and everything, you know, they continue to, you know, persecute my life, you know, even illegally, you know, with knowledge of every aspect of society, you know, throughout the course of the past years, you know, even those in powerful positions that have that specific job of preventing that kind of thing, you know, still sit there and let it snowball to the point where it got to where, you know, you have like evil satanic antichrist, you know, individuals, you know, like just like enthralled heavily and preyed on your life, you know, in spite of being already, you know, exposed, you know, and discovered, you know, and manifest as being, you know, the type that possessing the type of character or lack thereof, you know, that would facilitate, you know, that particular type of persecution, that type of satanic activity, you know. So it's like that kind of stuff still happen, but that's totally, you know, unrelated to those that, you know, that you know, that which love, you know, God for one. Well, anybody who do that don't love God, you know, sabotage your children. But, you know, there's other people that love God. And so I just, you know, wanted to clarify that, you know, it's not me, like it's never a point in time where, you know, like that I'll get any kind of problem, you know, because anybody can see, you know, I'm brilliant with what I do. I'm good at what I do by myself. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't never no point in time. But you have third-party influences, and they try to like sow confusion, you know what I'm saying, between like people's bonds. Like they try to cause problems and you know, persecute, you know, to like sabotage, you know, your bonds and all that kind of stuff, you know, because they want that, you know, they envy that position, that talent, that skill, that anointing, something that they want that you have, you know, even if you ain't got nothing. I learned that the hard way sometimes, you know. And so those is some of those, and you know, they abuse it. It don't really matter like what they are or not in society, you know. It all boils down to like a person's, you know, character, you know, moral compass, you know, that kind of reality, you know. And some, you know, they nitpick on every little thing. Like, just like, for instance, man, like, okay, I could be listening to a gospel song from the 1930s or something like that. Somebody could say, oh yeah, I love the Lord, you know, praise the Lord, or I like flowers, you know, flowers are gorgeous or something, you know what I'm saying? Just, you know, things like that. So I'm, just say I just write a poem, you know, and then I say later on in the poem, that, okay, flowers, you know, I like flowers, you know, or, you know, flowers are cool, or, okay, praise the Lord, you know, I love the Lord, you know, things like that, you know. And then later I think about it like this: somebody they did, you know, they put on their you know, they haters, they got their dunce cap, so, you know, they go on and put on their glasses, get they inspect the gadget, you know, equipment and everything, get on the internet, you know, and start like looking for, you know, anything in history, you know what I'm saying, that you know, hate reading, pretty much, you know, hate reading, you know, that's what haters do. So, you know, they look for any, you know, look up anything and say, I love flowers. They find something from, you know, way from the 1800s. Somebody said that, you know, and then they say that that's infringement. That's how they get down, you know, and that's what they're doing, because they're so jealous of, you know, and they want to be me, you know. Anybody else that has to say that. That's what a hater is, you know, having anger towards, you know, everybody reaching success, you know. And that's reality of the situation. And I just wanted that to be, you know, made manifest, like, because it's sad, you know, it's a sad reality. But I was actually pushed into a position I haven't to like illuminate it, because it's like it remains on me as an artist, because it ain't never like been this much of a problem like in my life, because what it is like it's so petty, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so petty to the point where like it don't even matter, you know, like it's so petty. And then the same individuals, you know, they be like enthralled with your existence, you know, for negative intentions, you know, for bad, you know, causes. And it's like a repetitive cycle, you know, things that same exact pattern happens, you know, every single time. Like, it ain't no coincidence, you know. But there's differences now, though, you know. But yes, it's a whole lot of manipulation, and that's how it is. But that's totally unrelated to that, you know, that which I know is from, you know, like those that that's receptive to the light and what's right, you know, those that ain't, you know, possessed by Antichrist and just, you know, insanely obsessed and cynical with just seeing somebody else fall instead of worrying about their own, you know, building their own empire and dynasty. You know, they worry about tearing somebody else's down and stomping theirs, you know, out of envy, you know, because they know the potential that person have for God is great. So that's the kingdom of hell, you know. But I mean, hey, Jesus is Lord, you know. That's one thing I always say. Like, anytime, you know, not just my personal life and you know, my take on life, you know, anything that I go through, you know, I say, you know, for one, Jesus is Lord, regardless of what happens to my life, and then nonetheless the Bible will reign, you know. And even though I'm under, you know, like all these different types of attacks, at this point, like, it's actually like a like cluster, you know. It's like everything clustered in together on me. Like, you got this all types of different things, but then some of it, you know, it's like, it's not really it's just, you know, you know, you just like, I think you have to be in a position of, I have been there to understand it, you know. But it's different types of aspects, and me speaking on like that nitpicking situation and that particular satanic strategy that, you know, haters do use on those successful, you know, well, in my particular field or whatever, it's really a petty and ridiculous thing, you know. But it's so ridiculous that you got no choice but to mention it. Because that's how society is becoming. Like, the end times, like, it's becoming like generally more and more ridiculous and petty, because everything trying to make money off everything, and then it's just becoming more and more, you know, just like the Bible said, you know, the times go worse and worse. That's the only place it can go. You know, it can't get no better. You know, because of the things that's already transpired, you know. So it's been a mess, man, like, for a long time. But I look at life like, you know, well, God gave me the inspiration, you know, for anything, then that's gonna be, he gonna, you know, if God gave me the inspiration for anything, then it's on him, you know, what happens to it, you know. So I trust in the Lord still to this day. But when it comes to things like that's a Satan like that, you know, I feel inclined to speak about it, because I like what's right and I stand for the light still. I've been out there all this time, you know, and I don't see myself changing that, you know. I don't see myself changing that. That's my foundation. My foundation was founded in the Word, and you know, that don't make me better than nobody, you know. Just because anybody can find God, you know, and you know what I mean. That's all we in the earth for. Anybody that belong to God. So everybody on assignment, spiritual assignments, and it's bigger things going on than petty nitpicking and stuff, you know. That's what I was saying. Like, it's like way more important stuff that's happening, you know, in the spiritual reality alone, you know, not mention all the bad stuff that's going on in the world, you know. But the Bible say keep our eyes on the spiritual things, you know. And even when I did that, I remember in past season, it's like the physical stuff like come for you, it's like come for you, like illegally, whatever way to, it's like, man, pay attention to me, you know. It's like, pay attention to me. Like, it's crazy, man. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm focused on Jesus, I'm focused on God. Like, pay attention to me, pay attention to me. I want your attention. Distraction, let me hurt you, let me harm you. That's how the darkness been, you know. Antichrist get you focused in certain directions so you can be framed into what direction they want you to go in, so they can do and have a certain result, you know, bring your life and sabotage it to a certain extent. Obsessively, cynically, and just like, it's like animated, you know, crazy stuff, like it's just animated, you know, like, but you know, that's just something I became used to, you know. But yeah, when it come to my art, man, like, it kind of offensive, you know, you know, because like, that's like sacred, but that what it means to me, you know. So when I be illuminating and I talk about spiritual warfare, it's things like that that encourage me, you know, to like to speak more deliberately and clearly and directly, you know, specifically about the things that I say, you know, so that there's no confusion, you know. And that's like in my body of work too. Like I could drop out just like Real Suicide Part 2 or something. Like I just wrote that one, and I'm talking about, you know, mainly how, you know, ultimately, you know, in the end, whether you see it now or not, you know, even whether it's the present or the future, you know, eventually kicking against the pricks, you know, will always end up hurt whoever kicking against it. You know what I'm saying? Like one day it's all gonna come back. And I'm thinking about making a Part 2 Real Suicide, and that one gonna be about these, you know, like just like this kind of situation here, you know, the nitpicking is like a very like an annoyance, you know what I'm saying? Like, cause you focus on, it's much greater things to be worried about, you know, than it's like little ticks, you know, that, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's word darts, like word curses, word traps, and satanic darts that the devil's sent at your legacy. You know, little irrelevant things that it be seized, and they throw it in, they send them in your legacy, and in order to defile the legacy, you know, defile what's right, you know, in spite of having access to glasses and hearing aids, you know, it's being able to see the clear plain sight, you know, the truth. It's like truth and everything is not enough anymore. When it start getting to that point, then it's like society is no longer society. It's something totally different, you know, because like truth, you know, common sense, that's what it is. You know, it's not that common, like, you know, it's like common. That's what I depend on. You know, I depend on like society to have an understanding that, you know, just come on, you know. But that's not, is not coming. You know, it's not coming, and it's in the interest of mammon. Like, it's not coming on purpose though. So some committed to like misunderstand it on purpose. You know, so, you know, in the interest of mammon. You know? And that's how it's been working. That's how it's been going for years, you know, like commitment to misunderstanding, you know, in spite of whatever, you know, truth or light, righteousness, obvious, you know, common sense type stuff, you know, misunderstood on purpose regarding my contribution anyway, you know. I could drop classics back to back, you know, day to day, like all the time, you know. It won't make no difference, because like it's like the rigging or like the sabotaging of the light has been so thorough, you know, throughout the years, that's what is made to not. It's made so God don't win, so God don't grow, and so righteousness don't exist. You know, it's made like that on purpose. So what's right don't prosper. It's like society was rigged intentionally and specifically against Christ. And I'm like, well, if I had known this stuff sooner, you know, I would have been speaking on it sooner. But for that perspective, you know, certain things just don't come until after you experience certain stuff. Like, you know, I'm still young. Like, I've been learning about life, like, you know, and I've been having to go through this mean world. I'm used to, like, it's, you know, you actually never get used to it. It's because there's always something new that you can learn that you ain't know, you know. And this strategy right here is one of the new ones I learned. Ain't no telling how long it been going on though, but it's new to me. But nah, it's always love, you know, to what love is, you know. For one, God is love, and we called the love one to another, So I mean, I just really this recording ain't for those that's that's good, that got good hearts, and pure in heart. It's not for the pure in heart. It just, I mean, it's for them in the fact, in the sense that they can understand this satanic dark, but it's mainly for like these antichrist darknesses, that working like deception and trying to manipulate and misportray situations and things to be what it ain't, just so they get popularity or something from it, No, man, that's, that in itself causes a person to like have to, because one thing about me, like lately I haven't been able to be up on every single thing, it's certain things that I follow, I pay more attention to, certain things I don't, just like everybody, certain stuff that I don't embrace, certain things I do embrace, it's how just, all I'm gonna say is heaven is real. Just like hell is real. And God got everybody, he gave everybody a measure of understanding, to a certain extent, what's right and what's wrong. And to understand where our actions will lead us, like, I couldn't do it, man. I couldn't be doing people any kind of way. Just be like that, especially known, man, praying child of God, people of God, that's his people. The Bible is true. It's a facts. It's, I don't know, man. I just got faith that maybe one day, ain't no maybe. I know one day, that what's right and the truth be seen for what it is, in regards to God and all of his vessels and God's ultimate redemptive plan for all of humanity. And in that I find contentment. I'm straight.